everyone, and welcome to another special edition of Mental Health Matters with your host, Dr. Matt Gloviak. Today, I want to take a moment to reflect on the concept of social distancing. Now, this is one of the means by which we're trying to alleviate the spread of COVID-19 throughout the rest of our nation. Now, for many, they may see social distancing as being something that's an overprotective factor, while for some, they see it as being just the right amount of what we need to do to be able to alleviate the spread of COVID-19 throughout the country. Now, one of the things that's important to consider once again is that regardless of whether or not you're for it or against it, it's the reality of the situation that we are in right now. And the reason that we have to do this is because we must consider that with the nature of COVID-19 and what we know about different viruses and the like, is that it is spread through human contact. And the more individuals that are in contact with one another, the more likely it is it will be able to expose one another and other individuals will contract what may potentially be a deadly disease. And because of what we've seen in some of the other countries, particularly in Italy, we want to make every single effort to be able to prevent, unnecessary deaths, especially when we know some ways to be able to alleviate it. So with social distancing, there is a lot of stress that may be imposed on the individual, and this is something I wanted to take a moment to be able to discuss right here. Now, as we know, human beings are social animals. We don't exist in isolation, and one of the most significant factors in having healthy mental health, attaining mental wellness, is that of socializing with other people. One of the first things we always say is to find the appropriate support, speak to a loved one, have a laugh, and so on. But what do we do now when we're having to exist in isolation and being encouraged to take space from other people, particularly strangers in large groups? So there are certainly some things that you may be able to do to alleviate some of the stress that comes with social distancing. First and foremost, take an opportunity to take advantage of many of the different technology platforms that we have available to still be able to communicate with other individuals. For instance, video chat is a really great feature that many people have gotten used to being able to use, whether it's through Skype, FaceTime, Dolby Connect, you name it, so on and so forth. You're able to utilize that to be able to connect on a one-on-one individual basis or with larger groups of people. Another approach you may utilize is continuing to use some of the old chat room type services. There are groups and the like that are still available. Support groups may be especially helpful in this respect. Sending emails to other individuals, it's always fun to receive an email. Sending text messages, being able to check in with individuals and groups as you would see fit to be able to remain connected. Other ways that you may be able to continue socializing, and I know video gamers love this one, is that connecting through the video game platform. There's a lot of ways to be able to play with other people so you continue having that social interaction. Can always rely on the old-fashioned snail mail, sending letters to individuals or little postcards and so on, letting them know that you care. And if you've become tired sending out messages to individuals in your life who know that you're doing well and okay, it's okay to start reaching out to some other vulnerable populations or those who could really appreciate your support, such as individuals right now who are quarantined in the nursing homes, or reaching out to the individuals who are overseas protecting our nation, or some of the veterans who could really appreciate hearing from you, thanking them for all of their services and so on. Some of the other things that we can consider doing, because at this time, again, we're trying to restrain from meeting with people in larger groups and the like, is, you can continue to make the best of individuals within your nuclear family, having some at-home activities that you can do, having movie nights, playing board games, playing with the video games, engaging in different types of arts and crafts activities, doing some of the things that you've always wanted to do before. I know in our everyday life before everything happened with COVID-19, we always talk about not having enough time to spend with friends and family because we're constantly working. And now here's the opportunity to take advantage of that as best as possible. So engage in some of those things that you always wish that you could, and now have the opportunity to do so. Although I know now it's a lot more stressful because we're essentially being forced to do so to protect ourselves from COVID-19, we can still make the best of this opportunity, and that's what it's about. Now, if you are going to go outside, there is nothing that's stating that you can't go out to a public park or take a walk and so on, just ensuring that there are smaller groups of people that are there. So if you do want to do a picnic or, go out and enjoy some fresh air, that's certainly okay. Outside of that, take advantage of some of the other benefits that are being provided at this time. While restaurants have been closed to to individuals for dine-in type of activities and so on, a lot of the restaurants are offering still being able to go through the drive-through. A lot of companies are offering free delivery and so on, so you can still continue receiving the food and such that you need to have to be able to function. And some of the other things that you may consider here as well, is being able to engage in some activities to better yourself. If you hadn't had the time to be able to work out before, go ahead. Engage in some physical fitness at home. While the gyms may be risky, there's still a lot that you can do at home. Perhaps take a look at one of our earlier episodes of Mental Health Matters where we talked about some at-home exercises that you can do. Haven't had the opportunity to read in a while? Feel free to go through and read some of those books that you haven't had the opportunity to go through and read. If you want to write, take some time writing some self-reflections, journals, poems, music, what have you, play your instrument and so on. What I'm trying to get at is that although this is a very stressful situation with the social distancing, it is important to still make the best of it, and this is important for your mental health. Now, if anything, we also need to consider here the reality that with people who are thinking that I'm not interacting with other individuals who are showing symptoms, so I'm not at risk. Keep in mind that many people who are actually passing on COVID-19 are currently asymptomatic, which means they're not showing any symptoms. The timeline as we know it, and please forgive me, I'm not a professional with the CDC, is that it takes about 2 weeks of incubation, and after that period, you may start to notice a severe sore throat with some coughing for the next 3 to 4 days, followed by some sinus infection and congestion and so on, and then it continues to lead into the flu. Now, while those may be obvious and apparent warning signs that somebody may be sick and needs to get checked out, the reality is that most of us who actually are carriers of it are asymptomatic at the time. So again, it is ever so important to be, mindful of who it is that you're interacting with. And again, follow through with the precautions that we have, such as using the hand sanitizer, making sure you're wiping things down with Sani-Cloths, making sure that the hand sanitizer and the Sani-Cloths that you are utilizing contain at least 60% alcohol, which is the active ingredient to kill these germs. And again, unless you do absolutely have to go outside or are going to be in a safe place, so if you are going to the store to get a couple quick groceries, which you need, going to the doctor's office or some other type of thing like that, really do limit your interactions with other people, because this is the type of thing that will not only protect you, but protect everybody else as well. Again, there's a lot of uncertainty and we can't say exactly where things are going to go. However, one thing that we can say is that by social distancing, it could be really one of our greatest chances of being able to combat this and taking a bad situation and making it even worse. Thank you for your time.